Joining us from Seattle is Mark Shea, and he is the author of the blog Catholic and Enjoying It, which is just a great title. Hey, Mark, thanks so much for being with us. How are you today?
Hey, good. Glad to be here.
Hey, we love the title of the blog, Catholic and Enjoying It. Your chapter, Modern Epistles, Blogging the Faith in the Church and the New Media, speaks to your advocacy for blogging in support of evangelization. Tell us about your work in this area.
Well, I started blogging in April of 2002. I got interested in it for several reasons. I have a friend named Amy Wellborn who is a blogger, very fine blogger, and what I liked about blogging was several things. First of all, as a writer, I'm an extrovert trapped in an introvert's job. Being a writer basically means you spend your life sitting in a room somewhere, and I'm one of these people that would much rather be out yakking with people. And so blogging makes it possible to do that. You log on. The way a blog works, for people who are not familiar with it, is it's kind of like an online diary. It allows you to publish your thoughts instantly to the web, which can there's ups and downs to that. I think all of us have had the experience at one point or another of hitting the send button and then thinking, what did I just do? But you can go back and you can edit what you've written as well, so that's good as well. You can link to whatever else is out there on the web. It allows you to, the motto of my blog is that so that no thought of mine, no matter how stupid, will ever go unpublished again. And so it allows you to talk to a worldwide audience. That was one of the things that struck me about Amy's blog, was I realized that if Amy were a magazine, Amy would have a circulation of about 30,000 people a month. This was 10 years ago. I thought, that's not bad. So I started blogging, and I've been doing it ever since. And what I like about it is that it allows you to engage anybody in the world about anything in the world. And the Catholic faith is a universal faith. I mean, that's what the word means. And so we are to address all aspects of life. And so what I do with my blog is I try to address everything that interests me. So it's a very personal way of evangelizing. This is emphatically Mark Shea's witness to the world. So it's my opinion about a lot of stuff. It's not, I try to distinguish between, what Mark Shea happens to think about The Matrix or The Hobbit or the last book that he read, from, here's the teaching of the church, so that, that distinction is made clear. But at the same time, what you're doing on a blog, at least what I'm doing on a blog, is trying to bear witness to the Catholic faith as a lay person out in the world. And so it can be it's a real challenge to write, but lots of fun, and I think has been very useful for being able to bring the gospel to people that might not otherwise encounter it.
And fun is the key word here, Mark. This is Father Reed. We're looking at your picture on screen. I wish you were here in the living room with us, but your face radiates the joy that you have, and also your blogs radiate that you truly enjoy being a Catholic. Can you tell us about being what I hear you are, a double jump convert?
Oh, yeah. I was not raised in a Christian household, not an atheist. I would describe myself as more of a pagan or an agnostic. That doesn't mean that I painted myself blue and ran around naked in the woods. What it means is that I was, as pagans are, I was on a search. I was seeking God through the imagination. I didn't know that I was seeking God, of course, but I was somebody who was hungry. As Augustine says, our heart is restless until it rests in you. And so when I got to college, I ran into some non-denominational evangelical Protestants who lived on my dorm floor. They bore witness to Jesus to me, and the Holy Spirit was at work as well. And the upshot is that in May of 1979, I became a believer, and I joined this little non-denominational group, and I was with them for a few years, and eventually kind of hit the point where I was asking questions that they simply couldn't answer with the resources of, 30 college-age people who, had the resources of 30 college-age people. And so as I looked and explored and asked more questions and prayed a lot more and struggled, eventually came to the realization that the Catholic faith was the faith that this is the church that Jesus had founded, and became a believer was received into the Catholic faith in 1987, in December of 1987.
Well, Mark, we only have a couple minutes left, and I definitely want to get to this book. I know soon you have a new book coming out, Salt and Light, the Commandments and the Beatitudes, and A Joyful Life. We'll get to that book in another show, but let's talk about Work of Mercy. Tell us about this book.
Sure. The Work of Mercy is an exploration of the Church's teaching concerning what are called the corporal and spiritual works of mercy. Jesus makes a reference to what the Church will later call the corporal works of mercy in the parable of the sheep and the goats. So we know, of course, the famous parable where Jesus separates the sheep from the goats, and he says, I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick. I was in prison and you visited me. These are what are called the corporal or bodily works of mercy. And so the Church will, the medieval Church in particular had sort of a mania for categorizing things and thoroughly going over the biblical tradition and the apostolic tradition to work out systems of things. And of course, they loved the number 7, it being a divine number. So the corporal works of mercy are feeding the hungry, giving drink to the thirsty, clothing the naked, harboring the harborless, visiting the sick, ransoming the captive, burying the dead. But in addition to these works of mercy that are addressed to our bodily needs are what are called the spiritual works of mercy. And you'll see there's no list of these things in the Bible, of course, but they're all things that are in the Bible anyway. So counseling the doubtful, admonishing the sinner, instructing the ignorant, bearing wrongs patiently, forgiving offenses willingly, comforting the afflicted, praying for the living and the dead. These are what are called the spiritual works of mercy, and they're addressed to the fact that man does not live by bread alone.
Are all these in the book, Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
The book has a chapter on each of these, and it teases out both from the biblical witness and also from the tradition of the Church what these things are and how they're lived. And then there's a little appendix at the back of the book that says, here are people that are doing these things. If you want to help do these things, you can contact these people for starters.
Well, unfortunately, Mark, we are just about out of time, and it's a great book, especially for Lent, I believe. It's just the perfect time. Where can people find more about your blog and picking up the book?
Well, you can come to my blog. Just Google my name, Mark Shea, S-H-E-A. It'll pop right up. You can get the book anywhere. You can order it from Amazon. You can get it from any bookstore.
The Work of Mercy.
Well, we'll have to have you back again because obviously we need more time because there is just so much we could talk about. But we thank you so much for joining us today, Mark, and have fun out there in Seattle.
Thank you.
Have
Bye,
a great
Mark.
day.